For many viewers, the demonic possession concept presented in The Exorcist was a terrifying one. Some were haunted by images of possessed Regan's deformed and discoloured face, her horrifying self-mutilations, and the demon's sadistic desire to mercilessly torment the living. The movie has also prompted many debates about spiritual possession possibly being a real phenomenon. But something that has stood out to me while exploring the movie, its production and its legacy, is that The Exorcist carries an indirect but powerful wish fulfillment message. It satisfies, or at least massages, our desire for immortality. It does this by presenting extreme evil as an indirect proof of God and the afterlife. So this is going to be the central premise of this study on the novel and movie of The Exorcist, but we'll also be exploring interesting related concepts like the grief for lost loved ones, the documented history on claims of spiritual possession, symbols of death in the story, and the prices of faith. So stick around until the end of the video because we'll be exploring a lot of territory. Perhaps the most authoritative source of information on the mortality wish fulfillment factor is the writer of the Exorcist novel, William Peter Blatty. Sourced from his book, On Writing The Exorcist from Novel to Film, I found the following quote relating to a newspaper article that Blatty had read while researching historical documents as basis for the story. The article reported a supposedly genuine demonic possession case, and Blatty stated, quote, "I was excited, for here at last in this city in my time was tangible evidence of transcendence. If there were demons, there were angels and probably a God and a life everlasting." End quote. While he does talk about his motives of wanting to write a successful fiction novel, his first response is one of immortality wish fulfillment. Now personally I don't follow the logic. Demons don't prove the existence of angels, nor do either of them prove the existence of the devil or God. And the existence of any of these spirit forms doesn't in itself prove that we mortals have an afterlife. Now I must emphasise immediately here that I do not intend any disrespect to the now deceased William Peter Blatty. He was a very intelligent and skilled writer. The Exorcist novel is full of nuance and detail, demonstrating Blatty had done a great deal of research on his subject from many angles, including the psychological and the scientific. And incidentally, I separate out psychology and science as different branches of research because the mathematical rules of science largely fall apart in the realm of psychology, just as they do in the realm of spiritual belief. I have a great respect for Blatty's efforts in writing The Exorcist and for his efforts in writing and directing The Exorcist 3, which I personally find a scarier film, but not a better film. Blatty was a believer in the spiritual afterlife, or at the very least wanted to believe. Director William Friedkin, on the other hand, has identified in interviews as agnostic, as in, he thinks it is impossible for we mortals to understand the true nature or intentions of God, if God exists. The differences in spiritual belief appear to create a divergence between Blatty's Exorcist book and Friedkin's Exorcist film. Personally, my spiritual beliefs are more aligned with Friedkin's, but I still like a lot of elements in the novel that didn't make it into the movie. In the novel, most of the key characters have a specific fear of death, and in turn a longing for God and the assurance of afterlife. Chris MacNeil has recurring dreams about death that also haunt her when she's awake. Before Regan, she'd had another child who died at the age of 3, killed by a new antibiotic on the market, so she's afraid to be too emotionally close to Regan. Her housemaid Sharon keeps trying different spiritual fads in search of belief, and near the end of the story, both of these characters, Sharon and Chris, rush into the bedroom where the exorcism is taking place, and they get to witness the levitation of Regan's bed. Proof of spiritual forces at work. For me, the novel gets a little bit too preachy at the end about all this. Despite witnessing the levitation and the possession of Regan, Chris still says at the end that she doesn't believe in God because of his silence, but she also says that the devil does a lot of advertising. Dyer responds that if seeing evil accounts for the existence of the devil, then what accounts for good? And Chris replies, that's a point. Yeah, that felt a bit forced for me. By the way, the etymology for the words good and evil is that they relate to the words God and devil. That had never occurred to me until I wrote this study. Maybe that's common knowledge, but I'd never thought of it before. Ultimately, Sharon and Chris's experience of Regan being demonically possessed opened them up a bit more to believing in God and the afterlife, and that is more present in the novel than it is in the movie. Even Regan has issues with death in the novel. Before the possession kicks in, she attends a funeral with her mother and asks why people have to die, as well as being quiet for the rest of the day, like she's mourning and she's sad about death itself. Although all that is missing in the film, she does make a statement about mortality to the astronaut in the party.
You're gonna die up there.
With Damien Karras, the movie version keeps his faith dilemma at the forefront of the story.
I think I've lost my faith, Tom.
But the novel features significant expansions. At one point he prays that there is someone to pray to, and like Chris, he is tormented by what he perceives to be the silence of God. A nice visual touch in the film is that when Merrin arrives at the house and when Karras is out getting items for the exorcism, the streets are shrouded in lit fog, but when Karras dies, the fog is gone. The fog typically gives an impression of spiritual proceedings as well as confusion. The fog is also seen when Regan postures in parallel with the Pazuzu statue, both backlit. In my view, this shot is as much about seeing the light, wish fulfillment confirmation of the spirit realm, as it is a confirmation of the demon itself. While there are some quotes at the beginning of the book's major parts which seem to try and edge the reader toward belief in evil and therefore belief in God and the afterlife, Blatty also included an opposite opinion for the character Burke Dennings. He tells Chris in the novel that death is a comfort, and she also thinks of his stardom as a form of immortality. And we could say the same about her stardom as an actress, celluloid immortality. And actually, I consider the common desire for fame to be, at least partially, a pursuit of immortality in the absence of actual belief in a real afterlife. Blatty also made sure to include on page 128 a reference to thanatophobia, which is the fear of death. Whilst the movie version was bound to end up deleting a lot of information from the novel, the choices of what to delete and what to keep I think fit well with the different spiritual positions of Blatty and Friedkin. Blatty wanted the afterlife to be confirmed. Friedkin didn't hold that particular hope, and so the movie discards with nearly all of the wishful thinking thanatophobia related elements for most of the characters. Instead, that paradigm is concentrated in Father Karras in the movie. Last example before we move on, and this comes from the most unexpected source in the novel. On page 258, Karras is reading the transcript of possessed Regan's reverse dialogue. And among the gibberish spoken by Pazuzu are the words, "Let her die, no, no, sweet, it is sweet in the body, better than the void." Isn't it the void of death that people fear in their pursuit of afterlife confirmation? Right folks, for those of you who are interested in the full version of this analysis of the Exorcist novel and film, the full version is a lot longer and it's available currently in article form on my website as a freebie. So if you follow the link in the video description below, it will take you to the film analysis page on my site, which is this page. And if you scroll down there, you will find under E is, there it is, The Exorcist, Death Awaits. That's an article, and I might make a full video version of it. I probably will, but I'm not sure yet. I might just leave it in article form. So yeah, you just click read there, and there you go. There's the full version of the article, and it's a lot longer. So that's the end of part one. We just had the video up to there, and as you scroll down, you see there's a lot more to it. There's how many parts are there to this video? 5 parts, so you've only seen part 1 out of 5 parts. So like I say, I might make a full video version of the entire article. If you want me to do that, then try and give this part 1 an algorithm boost by giving a like and maybe dropping a comment of some kind somewhere. If this part 1 is popular enough, then I might produce the full video and make that available for free on YouTube as well. Now, for those of you who've been asking for merchandise over the years, I occasionally get requests for this. I have recently put together a merchandise page on Redbubble. So if you go to either the film analysis or a recent page on my website, you find it right there in big bold letters, Collative Merchandise Shop. You go there and you'll find all kinds there. That's just a few of the items that you can see there. You know, t-shirts, hats, and mugs and all kinds of stuff. But if you click these links over on the left, you can get a lot more specific stuff. all of the t-shirts there. And you can select different colors and different types of t-shirts as well. I mean, that's not the full range right there. I don't think it is anyway. Or if you go to Explore Designs, and you can pick out which of the logos you like. They're all basically the same logo, but slightly different versions. Let's say you pick that one, and it will show you all of the items that have that particular logo on it. Also, while I'm here, the sales that I put up on my film analysis page, which are also available. I think my Insight page has got these as well. I've got discounts available on both of these pages. The Insights page has stuff that's non-film analysis, so it has psychology articles and videos, has stuff on video games and things like that. If you go to those pages, at the moment I've still got some discount sales available, and they will be finishing shortly after Christmas. So I mean, even if you can't afford to buy any now because you're busy buying Christmas presents, you may want to buy some just after Christmas, but don't leave it too long because I will be removing those discounts in the near future. Okay, later folks, bye bye.